the 19 special fall. Some. I think I don't think 20 take that. Okay, thank you. Ready, let's call the regular city council meeting to order for the city of Galena, Illinois, Monday, August 14, 2023. Take roll call, Mary Beth.
Bernstein.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Keeper.
Here.
Tegmeyer.
Here.
Westmeyer.
Here.
Weenan.
Here.
Renner.
Here, we have a quorum. Next is the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, then let's move ahead to item number 23C-0299. It's a reports of standing committees. We have no reports tonight. Let's move ahead then to item number 23C-0300. Citizens' comments. It's not to exceed 15 minutes as an agenda item and not more than 3 minutes per speaker. If you wish to address the council at this time, step up to the podium and state your name in red.
Greg Aldlaw, 850 Young Street. I'm here on 2 items. One is the solar panels on Mars Avenue and West Street. The house was probably built, well, I know it was built before 1845. It's a very historic home, and it would be a shame to put those panels on there. The historic building is falling down. You have the right to appeal it. So that's the other one. And then I see on the agenda on Young Street might be taken off the black topping for this year. That's been on since I worked here, before I was, even when I was working here, when just after Almond was president. It's been on, off, on, off, on. And the street has 52 cars in one block. And so it's breaking up very badly in the middle, and they patch it 2, 3 times, 4 times a year sometimes. It's just getting bad and it doesn't last.
Thank you, Craig.
James Boho, 1477 South Rocky Hill Road, Rice Township. Last council meeting, I explained how the 2022 council, with no records, using no history, no traffic studies, no surveys, ignored Illinois Department of Transportation's classic A critical warning on 4th Street and Highway 20. It brought no evidence forward, period. The only thing it brought forward was money over safety. Today, we are left with this decision that has been made by the 2022 council that involves these hazards and safety warnings from the Illinois Department of Transportation to the community. The city of Galena carries the responsibility to explain to its citizens that we have such an intersection within our community, and that the 2022 council went ahead with a project that is going to extremely increase the problems related to it. Along with this IDOT warning, the state of Illinois also recommends that if you have such an intersection in your community, you should educate your community about it and its dangers. This intersection is a serious liability to the city of Galena, as the 2022 council ignored all warnings and past histories related to it when it passed for further development in this area. It is important for the city to move forward with educating our community, including our school district, as the state of Illinois recommends. Our school district, as well as school bus drivers, use this intersection regularly and may not be aware of the dangers in this intersection. The city should be involved in educating its citizens, including its school children, regarding this Class A critical intersection. The citizens of this community deserve full understanding of the history of this intersection and its warnings. The Illinois Department of Transportation asks and recommends that this be done. Is the city going to wait or be proactive in addressing this citizen and protecting its citizens? Or is it going to continue to ignore the entire situation? I asked the city council to bring this subject up in new business and start the discussion. And once again, the Illinois Department of Transportation asks and recommends that the city educate its public. Thank you.
Right, Jim.
Good evening, everyone. David Schmidt from Northwest Illinois Economic Development. My personal address is 2 Pinehurst Court out in the Galena Territory. I'm here for the Illinois Finance Authority proposal that's on the agenda tonight called CPACE. Back in April, the Northwest organization, including our board and an executive committee, began analyzing the program. We brought it forward successfully back on 2 weeks ago with Joe Davis County Board, and they were able to adopt the ordinance. We're suggesting that the council adopt it for the city of Galena tonight in order to have the community, the business community of Galena, actually have 2 options. Brad Fletcher from the IFA wanted to be here tonight, but was not able to make the journey out from Chicago. He is watching online tonight, so if you did have any questions, we can try to work through that. But I know Mr. Moran and your finance director had private meetings with Brad along with myself and a member of my board, and hopefully everything was resolved successfully and you were able to adopt the ordinance tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Is there anybody else at this time wishing to address the council?
Good evening. I'm Mark Medler. I live on 120 South Bench Street. I'm here to address this issue. I believe it's number 23C 0305 about the license for outdoor dining and liquor in the alley off of the Lion's Den. I was at the hearing by the committee, the special committee that gave a special okay, more or less, but it's up to the council to make the final decision. I just want to reiterate how important I think it is that that does not become just a smoking alley. And that it's really not appropriate to have outdoor dining there. Of course, they need an outdoor exit for fire. That makes sense. But it's really not appropriate for a dining area. And I think that this is a deeper problem that Galena has, in that to get to be a bar, given the fact that there's a real limit about actual bars that can be in Galena. Many bar owners decide that they're going to be a restaurant so they can get the liquor license. So actually they're really just a bar, or the restaurant is sort of a secondary thinking. So this is a deeper problem that I think has to be faced about how do you give out liquor licenses. So anyway, I just wanted to reiterate that I think it's very important, since I live there and I know that other neighbors have been objecting. It's been fairly calm lately, but it is a potential problem, but it's really not a dining area. So I think that you should not approve the outdoor dining for the alley, which is in the back. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
John T-Bird, 100 South Bench Street. I just wanted to clarify something with the council and the police department. This weekend, there was a call to the police for loud music that was coming out of the Lion's Den. The sheriff's department responded, and they said they're allowed to have as loud a music they want until 11 o'clock. And I thought for sure that there was the doors had to be closed by 10. I just wanted to clarify that that is what is the ordinance, because it was quite loud up and down the street. So I just want to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Joe.
My name is Penn Stockwell, and it's about the alley, and I live at 107 North Bench. 2 or 3 years ago, we had a group of young people that were renting an apartment in the alley, and it wasn't too long before we had boom boxes and dances at all times, and trash being thrown into on our property. And I just do not think that an alley is a good place to have any entertainment like that. It abuts residences, residential properties and so forth. And I'd rather keep the alley free of that and let the entertainment remain on Main Street. Thank you.
Is there anybody else at this time wishing to address the council? Okay, then let's move ahead to the public hearings. Again, we have a public hearing tonight, and it's going to be on the 23-24 archery deer hunting program. Now, if you will go to testify at the public hearing, like I said when we began, if you want to speak during this time, you have to sign in and state your name and your address. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to entertain a motion to open up the public hearing. Item number 23C-0301.
So moved.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded on 23C-0301. It's public hearing on 23-24 archery deer hunting program. All right, saying that, means you have nobody signed in, and for the give any public speaking, entertain a motion to close this public hearing at this time. It's all formalities, but so you have a motion to
So
close.
moved.
All right, then move to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so Pam, take roll call on that.
Did we take a vote?
No,
On the first one, did we?
no,
On first one first?
sure.
Okay. Johnson?
Yes.
Keeper?
Yes.
Stegmeyer?
Yes.
Westmeyer?
Yes.
Keenan?
Yes.
Bernstein? Yes. Brenner?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, now. Entertain a motion to close down the public hearing. Again, we have a motion by Katie and a second by Pam. Take a roll call and then closing that meeting.
Keeper?
Yes.
Stegmeyer?
Yes.
Westmeyer?
Yes.
Keenan?
Yes.
Bernstein? Yes. Johnson?
Yes.
Brenner?
Yes, motion carries. Let's move ahead then to the electric commission, which we have done tonight. Moving ahead to the consent agenda, CA 23-15. Do I have some type of a motion on that?
Mr. Mayor,
Or Chris Keeper?
I move we approve consent agenda CA 23-15.
Do I have a second on that consent agenda?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded on consent agenda CA 23-15. Any questions on any of the things in the consent agenda? Okay, take roll call on that motion, Beth.
Stegmeyer?
Yes.
Westmeyer?
Yes.
Keenan?
Yes.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Keeper?
Yes.
Brenner?
Yes, motion carries. All right, then let's move ahead to unfinished business. We have none. Let's go right into new business. It's item number 23C-0305, discussion and possible action on appeal by John T-Bird of decision by the zoning board of appeals on a special use permit 23S-02 and 23S-03 for the Lions Den, 109 South Main Street. Have a motion on that,
Mr. Mayor,
on person, yeah, sign here,
man. Put the choir.
well, let's just make a motion. You want to make a motion, Jerry, make a motion.
I move we approve action on appeal by John Timbrog. A decision by the zoning board of appeals on special use permit 23S-02 and 23S-03 for the Lions Den 109 South Main with the conditions listed on page 60 by the zoning board.
Now, are you approving his appeal to deny them that?
Did I read it wrong?
Yes, you did. Well, I don't know. You're the one that's making the motion. If you, thing of it is that Mr. Kidder is wanting appeal to deny the Lions Den.
Oh, okay. No, that isn't, okay, I read it wrong.
Just wait.
I read it wrong.
All right.
I'll take back my motion.
Okay, all right. Or first take my,
I move to one. Oh my goodness, get a new microphone.
you've got a good one down.
I have to decide where I'm gonna be here. I move to one, uphold the appeal by John Teberg and reverse the decision by the zoning board of appeals on special use permit 23S-02 outdoor dining. And two, to remand to the ZBA the appeal of special use permit 23S-03 outdoor entertainment to be changed to a temporary permit to be reviewed by the zoning board after 6 months, all pertaining to the Lions Den 109 South Main Street.
Give a second to that. Okay, that's what I do is lack of a second. I have one more motion. Any talk about it, it dies. The bill dies if I don't get a motion. Alderperson Pamela,
Yes, I move that we, approve the appeal by Mr. Tebridge, concerning the zoning board's, approval of the permits for the Lions Den 109 South Main Street, item 23C-0305.
second on that one. Another second on that one either. I'll try one more time for this is dead. Alderperson Russell.
I'll make a motion that we discuss the appeal by John Teberg of decisions by the zoning board of appeals on special use permit 235-02 and 235-03 for the Lions Den 109 South Main Street, 23C-0305.
I second that.
All right, it's been moved. I'm sorry,
Just a point of order, Mr. Mayor, you've got to make a motion to take affirmative action.
one way or the other one.
So a motion to discuss is appropriate. It's either a motion to approve it or deny it.
Approve the appeal or deny the appeal is what I would want to do here, or recommend it back to the zone.
Well, let's recommend it go back to the zoning board then, because I think something needs to be worked out here instead of just dropping it completely. I think the hours could be changed. Things could be worked out to make everybody happy.
Mr. Mayor.
I think Alderperson Johnson have.
Okay.
I would also,
Wait.
Oh,
Second
sorry.
on juries to recommend it back to the zoning board.
I thought that I seconded.
Yeah, Cindy did.
I thought.
Yep.
Yeah,
Cindy did.
That was the first one.
okay.
I don't think anybody
Nobody
made a second. Nobody seconded his motion to
I
remand it back.
thought you did too, but okay. You go to second. jury.
I'll second.
All right, go ahead.
I also would recommend that this goes back to zoning, and zoning should make the language easily understandable to the citizens, like exactly what is allowable, what time it's not allowed until, what time things need to be shut down. It just needs to be very clear, because I think people are unclear with the exact ruling that the zoning board made.
Okay, so you want to send both of them, everything back?
Yes,
The outdoor dining and entertainment?
Yes.
Alderperson.
Why do we have to send it back to them? They passed it once. They've got these restrictions here. not operate after past 9 o'clock on weekdays, 10 o'clock. It's on page 60 of the agenda. I don't see why we need to send it back to the zoning.
Or a person taking their,
I think what's important to realize is there's two special use permits, and maybe it wasn't clear when I initially made my motion. But in my mind, there's one special use permit for outdoor dining, 23S-02. And I was thinking that we uphold the appeal, saying that we deny the dining because at the actual meeting and in the notes, the owner, Roger Gates, said that there probably would be very little dining, that it'd mostly be, and I'm quoting here, that's why I'm looking down, letting people take beer out to the patio during the tour, talking about a ghost tour, more than dining. And that originally in the proposal, there were 17 chairs and actually no tables for dining. So I was suggesting that the appeal had validity because there was inconsistencies in the language of the approval, and so that they're not actually using it for dining. So then that was my suggestion, but we can put it back to them if that's what everyone decides to do. And then the second part, the second special use permit, this microphone, sorry, everyone, is for outdoor entertainment. And I was suggesting, because there was a number of people, I was actually at that zoning board meeting, and there was a number of people who were upset and concerned about the noise level and what it would mean to them. And in the zoning board, they approved, and in the appeal, it talks about approving 5A, B, and C as far as noise level and different things. We can talk about that more in detail if you want. But my idea was that we used to have a 1-year review. So what if we just let them continue on? They have the approval, right? So they continue on for the season, which would take us to the end of October. And then we review at the end with the, constituents, with the residents. Did they meet all of these requirements that the zoning board said they had to meet as far as stopping the noise at 9 on weekdays and 10 on weekends, right? And then that would allow us to then, if that was met, everything's fine, to give them the long-term zoning permit in 2024.
you got ran up, Jerry.
Yeah, what it says there shouldn't have no amplification system outside. Technically, when you have music in a bar, the doors are supposed to be closed. No music is supposed to go outside of the building. Sometimes it does. Some people have their doors open. I think we should recommend going down to 8 o'clock on the weekdays and 9 o'clock on weekends. And look at the walking tour to see what type of noise that makes. And if that's the case, they make noise because no application system for them either, they said. It's just Mac announced talking to them back there. I think we need to work with each party. I understand the noise. But if we can drop it down an hour during the week, an hour on the weekends, 9 o'clock, still light out at 9 o'clock, that shouldn't bother, to me, it shouldn't bother anybody unless it's out of control. And that way we can monitor through the police department. And if there is complaints, it has to be legitimate complaints, not just complaints to add a list of each time they're called down there. And hopefully that's not the case, but no outside music by any means. And reduce the hours by an hour. That's what my suggestion would be.
Person taking.
Yeah, I would agree, and seeing and reading the neighbors' comments, and I listened to the zoning as well. I don't think the space is that suitable for outdoor dining. It's a highly residential area there. I think we need to send it back to zoning and see what they can come up with that's a little bit more palatable for everybody in that space.
I think it's, I'm not sure how we handle this, but I think it's important to note that this is about the outside entertainment and the outside dining and doesn't have to do with the inside music out that goes out to Main Street, which is a separate issue that was just brought up here. So we're not actually talking about that. We're talking about the special use permits, correct? And that they were already approved on condition for the outdoor entertainment, that it would be acoustic music only and the storytelling or ghost tours only, ending at 9 and 10 PM respectively, weekdays to weekends. So that so it's a separate issue, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
That's where I'm saying that the zoning should write clearly what is allowed, so there's no questions, or if there are questions, when the resident calls the police, there's a legitimate reason to call the police. They're being very loud out there. There's a crowd of 6,000 people. They shouldn't be there.
Okay, call the question, Pam.
Well, I've got a couple concerns about this, and I'll state them for what they're worth. Somebody already raised one of the issues about the fact that they're asking for permission to have an outdoor dining, and the owner himself said there's probably not going to be much in the way of dining. This makes no sense to me. I mean, I think what they're asking for basically is an outdoor bar. And that's something I certainly do not agree with. And as far as that back door goes, yeah, it's fine to put a sign up that says, don't go, please do not use the back door, do not go out this back door. But when you've got people drinking out there after a few drinks, I mean, let's face it, people are not likely to pay much attention to that if they want to go out that door. And I just think these things are kind of a non-starter for that.
Sure.
On number 4, it says no music shall be permitted. Right there, it says no music. So there can't be any music out there.
Yeah, it's, the zoning board spelled it out pretty plain. I don't know why there's so many questions.
Well, you know, I can understand. It's kind of a really mixed up request, if you ask me. They are in a downtown commercial district, which all this is allowable. Whether you have dining or whether you don't have dining, you can ask for them. Okay, same way it's outdoor entertainment. The homes that are budding up on Best Street, they're in downtown commercial. It's not a residential zone. So, you know, it's a very small area there. And I have no real idea why they wanted to do this behind the line instead. I don't think there's room for it. It looks like it's just want an outside bar. I have to agree with Pam on that. It looks like that they wanted a place to go out and drink, and I'm not in favor of that. You know, I'm in agreement that, you know, that the owner does not want to have outside dining at this time. We should not be allowed for that. And same with outdoor entertainment, if they want it for the individual who has the ghost tours. And it's only a couple of nights a week you have it, just gives them access for those 2 nights, not all week. So I think we gotta go send this back, and with all these questions we have in regards, I know they're allowed, it's by right in their district that they can have this stuff. But it sure don't sound like they're going to use it for what it's meant to be used for. I got a feeling that we should send it back in conjunction with your motion, Gary, but also to spell, you know, they spelled it out nicely. But I'm not in favor of, I don't think outside dining should go. I don't think if they want it for those tours, 2 nights, I would go along with that. That's my feelings on this. And so right now we got Jerry, your motion. Can you read that motion that Jerry had?
His motion was to send it back to the zoning board.
Just to send it back without explanation? All right, we'll go send it back. That gives us an explanation what we want to see done. You want a special use permits? I know when I was on the zoning board, we should only have a special use permit before it went with the property address. It was always a year decision. You have it for a year. We'll come back and we'll check it in a year. If there's any problems, then we'll have to take care of it, or you'll get pulled. That's the way yours go. Now, you know, We want that to happen here. And
Yes, and mainly go over, on page 60 there, the operation, the times, no sound application, which they already have. They shall enter and exit through the main street side, and that's the bartenders and the owner's responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen. No music shall be permitted, and about the low occupant load, permitted space shall be limited by the city, adopt the building code. I think that's, those 5 issues, they need to go back and look at.
Okay.
I second that.
Everybody understand what you, just were talking about here? Or Stegmeyer, for you?
I'm just wanting to clarify that this is in regards to the appeal. The zoning board approved both special permits.
Right.
The appeal asked that they be reversed, denied. And so we're going to say that we're remanding and sending both of them back
That's what you're saying.
for review.
That's what you're saying, what, with these points that you pointed out, everybody.
So do we want to keep in the suggestion of 6 months review for both special permits of outdoor dining and of the outdoor entertainment contingent on those 5 items you mentioned?
I would go with a year because we're getting into the winter time. You know, that ain't gonna give us a good 6 months dealing with this. I would give them a year's probation for the special use permits, not probation, but issue it for a year and see if they have plans or not doing what they're supposed to. Whatever they come up with on first day, whatever the council or the zoning board comes up with on those points that were pointed out.
I'm just curious because a number of people did respond in accordance to, and maybe it's just because it's a bit complicated as far as the outdoor dining, but we do want both of those things to be reviewed. We don't want to make a decision on upholding the appeal and reversal of the outdoor dining. We want both to go back.
I don't think we could split it because we don't, it's under one agenda. I don't think most of it might be. It's under one agenda.
They could knock one out if they choose to do that.
Got it.
Alderperson Katie, did you have discussion? Did you want to say something on that?
I mean, to me, outdoor dining is a mute point. It's what happens after outdoor dining, right? That's loud and busy and that kind of stuff. So I think it needs to be dealt with together so that everybody knows their rules going into it so that we can actually hold them. And I do think like the year come, November 15th, town drops, luminary weekend's busy. And after that, you're not busy till after Easter. So I think like 6 months isn't fair to them and it's not fair to us, but I think it needs to be dealt with all together.
I do. I think we should be given at least a year's look at it. I think they ought to revert back to the way it used to be.
In the timeline, the reason I put 6 months in is just to think of the season. So if we're talking outdoor stuff, I was just thinking from spring to end of October and then to review it before the season starts again. Otherwise, if we do a year from now, we'll be halfway through and there were problems. We'll be halfway through the summer season next year before we're making any decision after a review. So that's what I was trying to anticipate forward is in the winter, no one's going to be dining or doing outdoor entertainment.
Alderperson Johnson, you have anything?
Actually, she just kind of answered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an interesting conversation here. Does everybody understand what we're going to be doing here? Dave don't, he's shaking his head already, but we're going to send it back to the zoning board for kind of rehearing on the points come up. And at this time, we're not going to uphold or deny anybody, so it'll be back to the zoning board.
Do we vote on sending it back to the zoning board?
It's all part of Jerry's motion. All right, Mary Beth, you understand the motion and got it? Okay, let's take a roll call on that, sending it back.
just for clarification, is he adding that to the motion or is he just taking that suggestion in the minutes and that's when get forwarded to
For what?
the zoning board? All of his recommendations on what he wants clarified.
He wants it clarified with the zoning board. Plus, we want to put the time when the vote be more or less for the year.
So you want it as part of the motion or part of the minutes, which would be forwarded to the zoning board?
Well, if you can put it, in the minutes and forward that to the zoning board to be looked at.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Johnson,
Yes.
Keeper,
No,
Tegmeyer,
Yes.
Westmeyer,
Yes.
Weenan,
Yes.
Bernstein,
Yes,
Renner.
Yeah, okay, motion carried. Let's move ahead then to item number 23C-0306, discussion of possible action on an appeal by Madeline Holmesmeyer, 515 Mars Avenue, of a decision by the Historical Preservation Commission to deny the installation of solar panels on the roof of her property. Some type of motion on this. Okay, motion to get started.
Make a motion to approve, the appeal by Madeline Horsemeyer, 515 Mars Avenue, on the decision by the Historic Preservation Committee to approve the installation of solar panels on the roof of her property, item 23C-0306.
Okay, so you're go along with the appeal, you're approving the appeal. That would be one.
I want the solar panels, yes.
Kitty, what did you say, sir?
I want the solar panels.
Okay.
All right, so we got the motion here to go along and uphold the appeal by Madeline Holmesmeyer of Mars Avenue to have solar panels on her house. I have a second on the motion. It's on all the person Cindy.
I second that.
All
I
right,
do want the solar panels.
all right, discussion on this. Okay,
Yeah, just driving on Franklin, drove by the house, obviously, as I'm sure everybody else did. Driving on Franklin, there's one at the lower side of Franklin there that has, the aluminum frame, and that might be a different story. Going up Franklin more towards Hill Street on the right side, 2 houses in, the blue house, their solar panels are black on black, which is what she's asking for here. Does not stick out, looks very good. There's a lot of shrubs, and yes, she might cut shrubbery down. But I think the location and the position of everything, I think we have to be both ways for people who are in the historic district. I served on the committee for 13 years and times change a little bit. So I think we just need to be more consumer friendly.
Mr. Mayor.
oh, for sure.
Yeah, I drove by that. You can see the roof from every angle that I'm totally against the solar panels on the historic homes. I was against the one on High Street,
That's not,
so.
okay, all the person you're Pam.
I don't know, maybe it's a matter of height, but I drove by there and because I was concerned about the visibility, so I drove by there tonight before I came here. And sitting in my car, I look up and I can barely see the roof. And as Katie said, there's all kinds of tall shrubbery and a tree there. So it kind of obscures that view. So I don't think that's a problem.
All the person, Johnson.
I would like to consider the solar panel as a temporary thing that can be removed, not like an addition onto a historic house or property. And if it could be removed, I think it's a decision that maybe the zoning board should change the ordinance so that we can put them on all of the properties that want them. It's something that, like Katie said, the newer additions of the panels blend perfectly in with the roof that's black. And it is going to help so much for people's energy consumption prices. And I think that we should consider it.
All the person statement.
In general, I'm for solar panels and anything that is going to help the environment. But in this instance, and under our current rules, and the fact that the HBC unanimously, with everyone present, voted against this, I think it is premature for us to approve on this building, on this house, because the location is different as far as them being highly visible and the structure, of course, historic. So I think it's premature to approve some of these now because I sat up there and now sat here a few times where the approval happens or the appeal goes through or something happens and it's not consistent. And I think we're getting ourselves into a bit of trouble of going against our own rules some of the time. So at this point, according to our own rules, which the HBC voted on and made the decision unanimously, was that this building would not meet the requirements for the solar panels. That being said, I would like to look forward to see what we need to change so that more structures are solar panel friendly according to what we need to get done to, save the earth. Thank you.
Anybody else, Jerry?
Yeah, I drive by there all the time and it's an 1850 or so house. You can drive by going towards Dodge Street, you can see it. The one on Franklin Street, that's on a garage and that garage is not historic. So if they could come up with a different solution, and our ordinance says if we can hide it or anything like that, then they're for it. Well, here it's right on the main roof. And, like Cindy said, everybody on the historical board voted against it. And if we don't change something, or if we keep voting against them, we might as well not even have a board. Everything must just come right here to the council. We have a historical board. They do a great job, just like we have a zoning board. And if we keep going against them, we're never gonna get people to be on a board. And, I'm all for solar too, but see if they can come up with a better solution than right on top of the roof. There is a big tree there. There are bushes down low by the porch, but you can still see it from the roadway. And I don't think we have a very good ordinance now on solar panels and stuff like that. But if we keep going against them, we might as well not even have an ordinance and just let everybody do whatever they want to do on historical houses.
And I agree with both sides here a little bit too. I figured if you can use solar panels, that's great, but you gotta understand the city of Galena, nice, like it's sort of nature of our buildings and stuff. So we're in a tough, we train a lot, you check in Charleston, South Carolina, which is a great historical town. They basically got what we got, but only restricted, they don't want it on the front of the house, on the back. Can't get it that way, you get it. How do we decide? They never go homes 1, 2, 5 or whatever. If you're a number one category, you don't get it all. Don't even think about asking for it. So I mean, I think that we got to help the people, especially Ken. Now, could they put in a ground? I don't know. There's a small yard up there and whatnot. So there's some other alternatives, and then technology has come along. We're going to have shingles that have the solar panels in. Now, would that help anybody during the winter if Galena with snow on it? Probably not. That's not. And the other thing is that whoever has them, if they stick with the black frame, that they're allowed. But we're in a tough place, but I don't think we should allow this to happen. One person can.
Well, I think, whatever we decide tonight, I think we really need to seriously consider the ordinance and what changes we may want to make in it to try and avoid this kind of situation in the future.
Well, I think we talked about this the last time this
Yeah.
came up. Now, you're either gonna have a section on solar panels or you're not gonna have. Because how do you differ from certain things?
Well, you made the point yourself, I think, that, you know, one possibility would be to,
Number.
you know, number them or not allow them on the front of the house. I mean, there are some options.
Well, we do have it now, not allowed on the front, you know, not visible to thing. You put them on the backside, you went out it. But yeah, I agree. We gotta do something. Maybe we can get something more from Charleston, but, all right. Anyway, right now we have a motion to go, to approve the appeal by Madeline Holmesmeyer of Mars Avenue, 515 Mars Avenue. Any other discussion? All right, now we're gonna be voting on, to appeal, on the appeal, to approve the appeal. So everybody understand the motion? Okay, take one.
Keeper,
No,
Tegmeyer,
No.
Westmeyer,
No,
Weenan,
Yes.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes,
Renner.
No. Okay, let's move ahead then. To item number 23C-0307. Discussion and possible action on the 2023-24 archery deer hunting program. There's some kind of motion on, this, I want to pursue.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the 2023 archery deer hunting program as described in our packet. 23C-0307.
second.
The move second item number 23C-0307. Discussion on any of this at this point. Or
Pretty much the same as last year, isn't it?
then what you said about all of what you did.
Yeah, there is one thing I noticed, and I had kind of forgotten about it until now. But we have some hunters that are assigned to more than one area. Isn't that correct, Mark?
Correct.
It seems to me that they can't be in two places at once. So would we be well advised to make that change? So that we could have different hunters, I mean, a hunter assigned to only one area? I'm just wondering if that would increase the amount of culling that takes place, because it's pretty low right now with only 10 deer.
Well,
What was it? Was it 10?
well,
12?
all in about 7 by cars, so.
However many, under 20. So, yeah,
Yeah, you know, and some things, Pam, I agree with that. If some hunters want to hunt out on certain other areas, but then again, they're not familiar with that, you know, so, you know, we have to, kind of see what we can come up with, you know, there are, people that live up around, say, Donegan Street, they got
Yeah.
quite a bit of land up there, you know,
Sure.
so, but nobody else, I don't think, wants to up that area, but that's all owned by people that allow only these people on it.
I see.
So. Okay, anything else? Jerry?
I'm all for this program. We need to start thinning them down. Right now, I have 3 does and or 3 fawns. That's the big 3 fawns now, and a doe. And they love hostas and flowers, and like you said about the car accidents, I hope they can do better than 12 next year.
I do too, Jerry, but you know, I think the deer will get wise to this hunting because there are certain woods within the other areas that we can't hunt. That they like to hang out, you know, they're smart. You hear an arrow going by your head, you don't want to go there anymore. But I agree, but there are areas in town that harbor, you know, I mean, it's just a wooded, section of town that they stay in. They're not being bothered by it.
Then we got to keep reminding people not to feed the deer,
Not to feed it, that's right.
because that's why they stay in town, because people are feeding the deer.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't want to do that either, only because of CWD, you know, that's the big problem I was having now because of people feeding deers and just blossomed over there in regards to the CWD. And we don't want that to happen because they're going to come in and wipe us out. So, anyway, all right, let's take a roll call on that item number.
Tegmeyer,
yes,
Westmeyer,
Yes.
Weenan,
Yes.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Johnson,
yes,
Keeper,
Yes.
Renner.
Yes, motion carries. Let's move ahead to item number 23C-0308, discussion and possible action on street paving contract. Do I have a motion on that? Alderperson Jerry Westmeyer.
I'd like to make a motion on the street paving. But I'd like to add the additions, the 57,000 of the other ones, like Mr. Alba said, up there on, by Victoria Heights and Young Street. Been promising that street to be done. However long Mr. Almond was,
Yeah.
mayor, what from, was it Tyler Street up to Berry Street? Needs to be, that street needs to be done. We can't keep putting it off another year. There's already a sinkhole up there in the area by Chris Allendorf's, and Berry Street. And how many times can it keep trying to patch it?
I'll second his motion.
Okay, just other discussion on this. That was a long motion, Jerry. Put all that motion in there? Okay. All right, let's discuss this. Now, I know we're only spending, $500,000 on some of this stuff, but we do have money available, contingency money available to do other small jobs that we've had on the burners too. We got Bench Street concrete we're going to get done. We got Indian Ridge blowing, they went in there and overlaid it, so we messed up all the driveways because of years of overlaying it, they had to drop off. But we can take a look at what it's going to cost for Young and Tyler Streets and see if we have enough contingency in it, the funds, and maybe, some of this, if you got money left over, we use that for crack filling and all this other stuff, so. All right, we have a motion and a second, and
Can I just ask a question? So the motion is including the alternate bid that would cover Very Young and Tyler? Is that correct?
well,
And do we need to talk about where that money comes from, or I'm just.
well, it's just that I think there might be money left over from the main project, but that money was already designated for other areas that needed too, and I don't know if we'd have enough money there to cover both streets. Now, I think you could probably put in the ordinance bid, and if we don't have money, we're not going to do it. But what we're going to do is these other projects. That's the thing. We don't have a price on that. Alderperson Johnson.
Are we talking about not doing then Hickory and Fulton and Third and Fourth and Fifth Street, or what? What do you,
No.
not what
The
project?
base bid is good.
Okay.
Okay. The alternate bid is if we have money left over, we would try to do the Very Young and Tyler. Okay. And with that, we had some contingency money set aside in case we overran on some of these. And if we don't use contingency on the base bid, then we're going to do some other projects. But we throw that Very Young and Tyler. I hope we could have enough to get some jobs done, which I don't know at this time, but they would cost. So did you want to add any more?
I'm just wondering if they're ordered in, especially with the alternate bid, if there's safety concerns that can make it that should make it a priority as far as the order of which need done. When I'm sure that's
All the
considered,
streets
right?
need to get done.
Right.
It's just finance there, but we can put the alternate bid in, and if it's some of these other projects, we're just going to have to try to get some of them done from eliminating other projects. Okay, Alderperson.
Okay, so just to be clear on the motion, it does include the 57,000 for Very Young and Tyler. Okay, I think, I don't want to go into discussion, but to me, it's not like that has to all encompass, it needs to be the 557. So do we want to put a dollar on that motion?
I would put the alternate bid on the motion.
Can I make a motion that
Oh, just make an amendment to add.
amendment to add the total bid? $557,239.50.
Okay, now we have an amendment to add the alternate bids to the base bids. I need a second on the amendment.
Oh, second.
Moved and second to amend on the alternate bid to the base bid. Take roll call on that, Linda.
Weenan,
Yes.
Bernstein,
Yes,
Johnson,
Yes.
Keeper,
Yes.
Tegmeyer,
Yes.
Westmeyer,
Yes.
Renner.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, so now we got original motion with base bid plus alternate bid and second discussed and take the roll call on that.
Westmeyer,
Yes.
Weenan,
Yes.
Bernstein,
yes,
Johnson,
Yes.
Keeper,
Yes.
Tegmeyer,
Yes.
Renner.
Yes, motion carries. All right. All right, then let's move ahead then to item number 23C-0309. It's the first reading of an ordinance creating a PACE area and establishing the Illinois Finance Authority Property Assessed Clean Energy Program for record owners of property that from time to time may voluntarily request a levy of a special assessment to secure the financing or refinancing of their PACE projects. Authorizing program administrators to act thereunder, designating the Illinois Finance Authority as the sole issuer of bonds and notes and approving related matters. Do I have a motion on that? And you don't have to repeat that. Just give me the number on that. Alderperson Katie.
So move 23C-0309. Thank you.
Second.
All right. Discussion on this new program that has come out from the state. Alderperson Pat.
yeah, I think this is a great program, and I think, it's gonna be a benefit to the community, I really do.
And I agree with that, because it's really available for a lot of different people, the businesses, the ags, fourplexes, nonprofits. This might be an incentive for the developers that may want to come in and do affordable housing, so stuff like this, and it's all through the state. All we do is fill out the application, send it down, and I think it's a good tool that people can use.
Yeah, one thing I would ask is, how are we gonna get the word out on this?
Well, where's the Gazette at? And you got Dave there, the Gazette's here, and it'll be on the website.
Great.
The Illinois Finance Authority helps promote.
Yeah, okay, that's true. You say nothing anymore. But yeah, it's a great happening. And, I guess it's been on the books for a while, but they just started to reform it. And so that's good. All right. Take roll call on that motion there.
Bernstein,
Yes,
Johnson.
Yes.
Keeper,
Yes.
Tegmeyer,
Yes.
Westmeyer,
Yes.
Weenan,
Yes.
Renner.
Yes, motion carries. Let's move ahead then, item number 23C-0310. It's the first reading of an ordinance of approving the purchase of real estate. You can also waive the second on this reading if you would like to do so, one way or the other. Do I have a motion on this? Alderperson.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading and waive the second reading of an ordinance approving the purchase of real estate for $831.
Okay. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All right, so moved second, item number 23C-0310. The discussion on this, it's kind of hard to tell where this is at down on Field Street, but the city does own a lot of property down there. And, you're looking down towards the future there because, say for instance, if a business would leave that area down there, we could maybe extend some parking and also have some trails or something down there. So I think for $831, I think, anyone we can get, and it's pretty flat down.
Cool.
So we own the rest of it. So, okay. Take the roll call on that.
Johnson,
Yes.
Keeper.
Yes.
Tegmeyer,
Yes.
Westmeyer.
Yes.
Weenan,
Yes.
Bernstein,
yes,
Renner.
Yes, motion carries. Let's go ahead and item number 23C-0311. It's the warrants. So I have a motion on the warrants.
Make a motion to approve the warrants 23C-0311.
Okay, second on Alderperson Johnson. Moving second on the warrants. Any questions about any of the bills? Take roll call. There's that.
Keeper,
Yes.
Tegmeyer,
Yes.
Westmeyer.
Yes.
Weenan,
Yes.
Bernstein,
yes,
Johnson.
Yes.
Renner.
Yes, motion carries. Let's move ahead then to item 23C-0312. Alderperson's comment. Alderperson Jordan Keeper.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
All right, Alderperson, St. John.
I am very grateful for having YouTube and that the fact that our meetings will now be public to the public.
Let's hope this people watch.
Yeah.
Alderperson Tate.
I think I talked enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alderperson Tate.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring back up, we had talked, I know, a couple of meetings ago about the Airbnb and figuring out who was actually using their license, if they were actually paying lodging tax, and just want to know where we're at. And I did miss 2 meetings, so it likely could have been at one of those meetings, but if we could just get maybe a report next time, and then also visit Galena with the free ride and shuttle, if we could get some data back, I think on that is important, being that it is packed in town.
Jerry.
Just wondering what the status of the cameras are.
Yeah, we have, I think it's 19 cameras operational now. Still waiting in about 10 more. Should be very soon.
They haven't been up in until we have to get power to it.
Right.
Alderperson Tate.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right, let's move ahead then. Item number 23C dash 0312, 313, City Administrator.
Thank you. At the last meeting, I reported that we have the garbage and recycling contract on this agenda, which it is not. But we did receive the proposal from Montgomery. We've now responded to them with some preliminary feedback. So I hope that will be on our next agenda for consideration. And just want to thank everybody involved in the playground projects. It's been a process since the spring getting those 3 playgrounds upgraded. But I haven't seen them. They all look great. Big thanks to Jason Bingham and his crew for doing the final concrete work and bench and picnic table installations. And it's interesting that when we started doing our live streams tonight, we actually have the biggest crowd. So we'll see.
You guys could have stayed home and watched.
Yeah.
You didn't have to come out in the rain. But yeah, no. That's it. All right, thank you, Mark. Let's move ahead to item 23C dash 0314, Mayor's report. Yeah, thank you to live YouTubing, and swimming pool will be open yet this week. It's been a super year. We have a lot of good help and a lot of state that are coming back. A lot of good comments about how well the pool looked and whatnot. Business downtown and elsewhere has been doing real well, I feel, and thank all the staff for chipping in and keeping the town nice looking and taking care of the playground. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
We move second to adjourn, take roll, Mary Beth.
Tagmeyer,
Yes.
Westmeyer.
Yes.
Yes.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Keeper.
Yes.
Brennan.
Yes, motion carries. We are adjourned and thank you all.
Yes.